I'm joined now by Thalidomide survivor Mikey Argy, who the producers consulted on the storyline, and it was a tough watch. It really was last night. I mean, Call The Midwife do tackle some really important issues, and this was incredibly important. Did you feel that it did you justice?
Oh, I thought Call The Midwife was very brave last night.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed murder on TV because many babies were murdered due to the level of their disability. I mean, that baby was born, it had no arms at all. I think it just had little toes where its feet should even be. It had no eyes because the nerves didn't develop in the eyes, and it had no ears as well. And like they said, they couldn't tell the sex of the baby, so its genitalia were all mixed up as well. I mean, that baby could possibly have survived. We don't know, but any newborn baby exposed at a window with the fresh air, starved, is not going to survive.
It was absolutely hellish to watch. It really was.
Yes.
And also we know, you know, we've got the benefit of knowing what this was all about. It was that drug that people were given, that doctors were prescribing in good faith. Women were taken because the doctor's given it to you, so it must be okay.
Yes, that's right.
And then the devastating effect.
Yes, I mean, it just made me sort of gasp, is the only word I can say. So the sound came out of me. I was just so shocked that they showed it, and it was so compassionate the way the sister picked the baby up and made sure that when she died being loved.
Exactly. For you yourself, obviously we can see with your arms, is that the only effect that you have?
Yes, that's my only effect of thalidomide.
Right.
And it affects the shoulders as well. And then the after effects are, you know, having short arms, you overuse your body by bending down to do things and climbing up and reaching things. And when you fall over, you can't break your fall. But many of us have musculoskeletal problems now. We've got spurs growing up our backs. We've done in our knee joints. If you have no arms, for example, and you use your feet for absolutely everything, imagine bringing your foot to your mouth at the age of 53. I mean, most people can't do it. People with no arms and short arms can still do those sorts of things, and it has wear and tear on the body.
No, you can imagine, of course,
Yes.
of course it does. There is a group of you. You, I know, have been at the forefront of this, and it's one of these things. You know, the whole scandal was uncovered, of course, famously by the Sunday Times.
Yes.
They did a fantastic investigation into this. Compensation was given. Not enough. The battle goes on, doesn't it?
The battle goes on. We hold 3 parties responsible, and 2 of those parties we've actually handled and dealt with now.
Right.
And we are now looking after the 3rd party responsible, and we are running a big campaign on this, and we have information on the Thalidomide Trust website if anybody wishes to know more about our campaign.
No, that's really good. So, as I said, the fight still
going on.
Because there's an interesting, you know, Harold Evans, who was the editor at the time, and I know there's an interesting documentary that's going to come out, and there was a connection with the war, which is extraordinary. With the Germans, you know, all of that, there was a connection there. We think, you know, this is the investigation that's going to be going on. So there's so much more still to come out about this. Just when you thought it was over and done with, it's not. And for you, and everyone who's been affected by this, you need answers, don't you?
We need answers, and not only do we need answers, we want the world to know the answers as well.
Of course.
Because this is a big cover-up, thalidomide, and the investigations are ongoing.
No, exactly. So it's still keeping on going. You must keep in touch with us and let us know let us know how that goes.
Yes.
And for your family, I mean, when you were born, what was the effect on your parents? Because they wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have known.
No, my parents didn't know. My mother had got suspicious because she had met other children. She'd met another particular child, and the mother had said that they'd taken thalidomide, and my mother was aware that she had taken it because it wasn't just a morning sickness pill. It was really a sedative. It was to help people sleep, and it was also good for taking for morning sickness. So my baby brother was taking the drug because he was having very bad sleeping problems, and so it was in the house, and my mother wasn't able to sleep, and the doctor said, "Why didn't you take that medicine your son is having?"
Yeah.
It's perfectly safe. And she didn't know she was pregnant. There's only a few months between us, you know, about 16 months, 18 months between me and my brother. So that's how my mother took it. But in the beginning of the series, it shows a thalidomide baby being born in Call The Midwife, and it incorporates the whole family, because thalidomide affected not just me and not just any other thalidomide born, but it affected the parents and it affected the siblings, and it did cause breakups in family. So I was brought up by my father and my stepmother, along with my brother and my sister, and my mother went on to remarry, and I then had a stepfather as well, who has recently died.
So, as we said, it just doesn't affect you. The ripples go out to everyone.
Absolutely.
Please keep in touch with us, Mikey. It's been absolutely fascinating to talk to you, and I know this storyline is going to develop and continue and Call The Midwife as well.
Yes, it will.
Which is good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.